Alright, so today's episode is going to be an exciting one. I'm going to be showing you guys how to create this scene right here. Basically having a bunch of water droplets or rain interacting with a water surface, creating ripples and cool little wave effects. And all of this is done inside Blender using no outside software. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial and like and subscribe. Alright, so with the new scene open up in Blender, I'm going to be showing you guys how to make rain and actually have raindrops come and interact with a water surface, creating ripples and a bit of waves, well, light waves anyway. And it's gonna be a cool one, and I hope you guys enjoy. So first off, what you want to do is delete everything that's here. So just enter A and then X, delete everything. Shift A, come over to mesh, add a plane, and then S to scale, and then just hit 5 on your numpad, and that'll bring it to 5. Okay, so what we're going to do from here is, let's duplicate this. So Shift D is to duplicate, and then what you can do is go on the Z axis. So just hit Shift D, Z, and you can go as high as you want. I think somewhere around here is fine for me. Okay, so select the bottom plane. This is going to be the water that's the raindrops are going to fall and impact on. So what we're going to do is tab to go into edit mode, and then right click, subdivide. So come over here and just open up this tab. You see it's got number of cuts 1. We're going to change this to 50. There we go. And what this is actually going to do is, when the raindrops actually interact with this is going to give it a much smoother and more dynamic feel. So the more you got, the better, but it just depends on what computer you guys are working on. Okay, so tab to come out of that and select the top plane. Actually, go back, select the bottom plane. Let's just come over to the physics properties, and we're gonna add a dynamic pane for this, and just make sure it's on canvas, and then add canvas. Come down over to paint, change it to waves, and then now you can select the top plane. Also, we're adding dynamic pane to it, but we're changing this to brush. Add the brush, and then you want to come over to paint, change that to particle system, but this doesn't have a particle system yet, so we're gonna add one now. So come over here, just click the plus icon, that'll add a particle system to this. So first off, if you hit play, you'll notice there it is, it's doing something. So what it is, it's emitting particles, but they are very round at the moment. So let's fix that. Let's get them to look more like raindrops. So what we can do for that is Shift A, add in a icosphere, G to grab, X, and then G, Z, bring it up. Okay, so tab to go in edit mode, select the top point of this icosphere, and then enable proportional editing. And then what you want to do is just go next to it and G. And then if you scroll with your mouse wheel, this will increase and decrease. And what you can do is just pick up till you get the shape that you want. And I think roughly here this looks good. So just left click and then tab to come out, right click, shade smooth, and that looks a lot like a raindrop. Don't worry about the size of it because that's not gonna matter. Okay, so select the top plane again, come back down here, go over to render, and which is render as halo, we're gonna change that to object, and then we're gonna add an object, which in this case is the icosphere. And now if we zoom in, you guys will see that there we go. This is all basically looking like raindrops. So what we can do from here is come back to the physics property and let's enable this particle system. And what that will actually do is get it to interact with the base surface here. And if you hit play, there we go. So at the moment you'll see it's looking very pixelated, so let's fix that. The bottom plane selected, right click, shade smooth, there we go. And that looks a lot better instantly. but we can actually do more to get this better. So select the top plane, come back over to with the top plane selected, come back over to the property here, the particle system, and actually what we want to do is change this to 253, and then your start frame, let's go at -45. And what this will actually do is it'll give it a continuous loop. So if you press play, you're gonna notice particles are just falling continuously. They're not starting from the top and dropping every time it reaches frame 1. Okay, so what we also want to do here is now these particles are just falling straight beneath these. So there's a trick that we can do to actually kill these particles so they just interact with the surface and don't go anywhere else. So what we can do is, with the bottom plane selected, you're gonna come back over, just make sure your bottom plane is selected only, and just come back over here to the physics tab, and then what you're gonna do is enable a collision object, and then scroll all the way down and click on kill particles. So what that's actually going to do now, if you click play, you can see it's basically killing all the particles that interact with the surface, so nothing is allowed to pass through. Okay, so what we can actually do now is let's get this bottom plane to look a lot like water. So with the plane selected, let's just pause, go back to frame 1. Okay, come all the way down here to the material tab and add a new material. Okay, so with the new material added, let's change the base color first. Give it like a nice bluish kind of color. Actually, let's change to this render mode here. Now we can see it. There we go. Okay, so that's selected. I actually don't want it so bright. Roughly, I want it somewhere around here. But you guys can go with whatever you want. It just depends on your personal preference. So what we're going to do is get this to look more like water. Basically, if we hit play, you'll notice you can't really see any effects, any ripple effects anymore. So what we can do is scroll down, go to roughness, and put that all at 0. There we go. And now if you hit it, there we go. You can see we've got rain particles hitting on a water surface, creating ripples, and that actually looks pretty cool. We can take this a step further to actually get it to look a bit more realistic. What you're going to do is come down to transmission, and if you turn this all the way up, there we go. You'll notice this looks a lot like real water basically. Yeah, and you guys can just go with whatever you want here. Personally, I prefer keeping the transmission maybe around like 0.2, just so there's a slight bit of reflection and stuff, but not too much. Okay, and that'll be all for today's tutorial. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you guys would like to see another video, just subscribe, smash the bell icon so you guys will be notified the first time I upload the next video.